Good morning and welcome back to the Wilton Report. My name's Josh Wilton, and on this week's episode, we'll be figuring out where is the market. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Wilton Report, everybody. If you have not already, please hit the subscribe button and feel free to leave a comment and like the episode if you like it, and or share it on your social. It helps support the broadcast and reaches new members of the community. So again, my name's Josh Wilton. I'm the co-owner of Queenston Realty, Princeton Property Management Services, Princeton Home Connections, Princeton Property Works, to name a few. We are a boutique real estate organization nestled right in Princeton, New Jersey. And we specialize obviously in Princeton and the greater Princeton market, West Windsor, Plainsboro, you name it. And today we're going to be talking about where's the market. The national market stinks, to be plain. Inventory is climbing. Rates are sort of stuck in this high position. The tariffs are causing inflationary pressure. So it's a question of where's the market? Where are things selling? Where do we think things are going to go? And if you were not on our seminar last night, we're going to post that whole episode when we talk about some forecasts for the balance of 2025. But let's talk today about where's the market. Obviously, in Princeton every week, I do track the inventory because inventory tells a pretty big picture. So last year in Princeton on June 20th, 2024, there was only 57 homes for sale, which is really, really low. 47% of that was above 2 million. Fast forward a year later, only 58 homes for sale, 50% above 2 million. And the beginning of July, we're at 63, again, over 50% above 2 million. Fast forward to today, 61 homes for sale. We were down into the 50s as predicted on the show. And then we sort of bounced back up to 61 with 53% above 2 million. So what does that mean? It means there's a lot of imbalance in the market. It means there's no starter houses in the Princeton, and I would even say the greater Princeton area, West Windsor, etc. West Windsor's doing some great development, but it's obviously not cheap based on development prices. So when you look at New Jersey through May, right, there's only a 1% change in properties and a 5% change in median sale price. So what does that mean? Only 1% growth in closed properties, 20% change in homes for sale, which is great across the state, not statistically significant, to be honest. So if you look at the single family market in New Jersey through May, and I know this is a little dated, I'll have the June numbers at the end of this week, it was only a negative 2% change in May. So May 2024, there were 79.78 single family on the homes. In May 2025, 79.59. So it was a 2% decline month to month. Year to date, only 3.4% single family home growth in terms of inventory in New Jersey. And if you recall, if you watch the show, you know New Jersey's 60% behind pre-COVID inventory levels. So we have a long way to go before we get back to what we were perceived as normal, if we ever get back to normalcy. The condo townhouse market is doing a little bit better in terms of inventory and supply and perhaps choice. There is some new construction in Mercer County. West Windsor has townhouses for sale. There's some projects that are listed even here in Princeton that are coming to the market for resale, condo and townhouse. So things are breaking through in that market. Year to date, the condo townhouse market's up 13% in New Jersey in terms of inventory. So getting a bit better. People are moving. The adult community is up 12% throughout the state. But again, 12% sounds like a lot. It's 4,044 versus 3,608. So that's like 400 units spread across the entire state of New Jersey. And if you've ever driven from the tip of Bergen County or the tip of Sussex County to Cape May or South Jersey by Delaware, 400 houses, or in this case, less than 1,000 townhouses, or in this case, less than 1,000 single families is not statistically significant. Is it getting better? 100%. Is the market softening? Not necessarily. I just don't think that wages have kept pace with home prices. So what does that mean? Buyers always win. If buyers can't afford to buy, they're not going to buy. They will buy something else. So we will see an adjustment in the market, which is why we're going to talk about where are things selling locally. So in Plainsboro, there's 27 active and contract and pending. 74% of the active and contract and pending in Plainsboro is below 1 million. So when you look at the balance of the market in Plainsboro, most of it below 1 million, most of the market's below 1 million. Does that mean the upper market's not selling? No, it's actually selling pretty briskly. However, there's just more people who can afford the under $1 million segment in Plainsboro. In Lawrenceville, so when you look at the active contracts and pendings, 45% of the market's below 500,000. So it shows you the economic diversity in terms of housing stock Lawrenceville has. So 45% of the market's below 500, 50% of the market's between 500 and 999, and less than 5% is above 1 million. That's a pretty normal scene for Lawrenceville. So things coming on at 2 million in Lawrenceville and selling in 2 days was never considered normal by those of us who've been doing this a while in this market. So in Lawrenceville, there's a return to normalcy. So what does that mean long term? It means the best house on the best street in the best condition will sell before the same house on the same street in crappy condition. Location's going to matter. Condition's going to matter. The ability of the buyer to move in and not do any work because they are leveraged with high interest rates will matter. So seller prep, seller staging, seller logistics, getting their house to the market matters immensely. Plus, if you're buying a house at 6.5%, 6.7% interest rate, you're probably dual income. So buyers don't have a ton of time to be knocking around these houses. Hopewell Township, 64 active and contract and pending, only 15% 10 over 1 million, 12% under 500K, and 71% of the market's between 500 and 999. So you can just see where right on the screen, or by listening to this, where the preponderance of the Hopewell Township market is. The sweet spot in Hopewell Township is between 500 and 999. In Hopewell Township, the closer you are to Princeton, there's a premium. Septic versus sewer. Sewer has a premium. Why? Because septic is expensive to replace. Not that sewer lines aren't, but theoretically, it's cheaper to maintain long term. So again, in Hopewell Township, you're going to see a return to normalcy. What does that mean? It means the super expensive stuff will stay on the market a lot longer. It means that the nice house in the nice neighborhood, or theoretically, the well-priced worst house in the best neighborhood is going to sell immediately. Stuff that is not positioned well, stuff that is overpriced, will not. And we're seeing that. If you overprice it and you shoot for the moon and you're like, I'm going to leave room to negotiate, you're going to leave room to stay in that house for 2 to 3 years because it's not going to sell. West Windsor, one of the most brutal markets in the state, probably to buy a house. 65 active and contract and pending. That's a lot, man. Only 9% under 500K. Again, why? It's an expensive market overall. 60% between 500 and 999. 26% over a million. Excuse me, not between a million, over a million. So again, the sweet spot in West Windsor is in the 500 and 999 market. So again, West Windsor, I don't want to say has aging housing stock, but a lot was built in the 70s and the 80s. So if you as the seller have lived in that house and have your original kitchen from the 70s and the 80s and made the decision not to update it, which is fine, nobody cares, you will not get the same money as the house that updated it. And here's the other math. If houses on your street in West Windsor are selling at $850 and you put a brand new kitchen in to bring it to market value, you're not selling it at $850 plus the cost of the kitchen. You're just selling it at $850. You're getting to the standard of the market. So what's going to happen in the market on the go forward, at least for the balance of this year until rates get figured out, and I don't see them changing because there's so much pressure on inflation, normalcy is going to matter. Location's going to matter. Condition's going to matter, right? So, and the sellers who don't take the time and get their house to the market standard will not sell expeditiously. We had a townhouse in West Windsor. We staged it, prepped it, painted it, brought in furniture. The photography was awesome. Virtual tours, the whole thing. Sold it in 5 days at a record price, okay? The neighbor did none of those things. It was kind of a gross unit, 57 days on the market, and they had to take less than asking price. So again, pick the right agent, pick the right strategy. If an agent's telling you what you want to hear, don't hire them. They're going to cost you money. The clarity is a superpower, right? In this business, clarity makes you money. Princeton, 43 active and contract and pending, only 9% under 500K. Some condos, 43% between 599, 23% above $1 million in Princeton. So again, the sweet spot in Princeton is $500 to $999. A lot of townhouses, a lot of condos selling. Why? Because it's affordable. It's just an affordable segment of the market. So, where's the market going to go? Normal. The market's going to be more normal as we know it in the residential real estate business. What does that mean? It means the super luxury homes will take a while to sell. New construction will always have a premium in that segment. It means houses that are not brought to the market well, or priced well, or staged well, or in good condition will take a lot longer and net a lot less than the sellers who made the decision to prep their properties. Fact. And it plays out in case after case after case. So that's it for this week's episode of the Wilton Report. Again, if you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. Tell your friends about it. We cover all the towns in Mercer, most of Middlesex, and lower Somerset County. We will be expanding into Bucks to talk about Bucks County shortly. And that's it. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and I'll see you again next week.